All right, how's everyone doing? I am Rich CELENZA. Thanks for tuning into the Rich CELENZA Show. So, what I want to call this podcast is I refuse to follow others. Now, I don't know what it is about myself, and maybe you go through this as well, is it's really hard for me to believe or follow others. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't learn from others and that I don't respect others. But I don't know if it's just I've had an attitude my entire life where it's almost impossible for me to follow anyone else. And, I really learned this. I wasn't even going to bring this up. It just popped in my head when I used to live in Chicago. And I guess you could say I have a lot of family members that are connected in many different ways. And, when I was younger in my teens, I was actually thinking about, hey, what I didn't know where I stood. My father owned a nightclub. He sold that when I was around 13, 14. He went to Florida. He started a small vending route. But once he sold the nightclub, if I was going to become a professional athlete, which I was really too small at that point in time, and I just wasn't strong enough either, even though I was pretty coordinated, I would have loved to do that. That would have been my dream, to be like a middle linebacker for the Chicago Bears or maybe a running back. But that wasn't happening. I was thinking about maybe, going to the mob maybe. I don't know. I knew I could most likely get in. I probably could. Oh, actually, I'm not 100% Italian, so that would have been an issue. But my point being is I definitely could be involved with them. And I knew, I have family members and I know other people. And then I was around them and I just remember thinking to myself, I just can't follow anyone. And I also am horrible at taking orders from people. And I really try to get along with everyone, honestly. I do. If I work with you or I work for someone, I really respect you. I'll always respect anyone. I don't care if they're the boss or not the boss. They could be I don't care, like the saying. If they're a janitor, I'm going to treat that person with the same respect as a CEO or CFO or VP, whatever the case may be. I do like people. I hope I'm not coming off as an asshole. But the reason I bring this up is you may be like this too is, one of the reasons I realize now later in life that benefited me was not by following others is just having the balls to go do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it with who I wanted to do it with. Did that always pan out financially? Absolutely not. I think me working for family for a majority of my life was very beneficial at times. But then when it comes to working maybe a normal job, I guess you could say, I just don't fit in there. And I probably would have never fit in anyways. But I see now, especially with, say, social media or the media in general, I always see people listening to a lot of things they hear or believing in things they hear. And my father has always said, and I believe in it, only believe half of what you see. Don't believe anything you hear and only half of what you see. I think that's what he says. When I hear people, it could be even religion, politics, it could be work related. A lot of people talking, I don't know what it is, but I immediately have the mindset that they're bullshitting me. And maybe because I grew up in a very religious household on one end, with my mother being around a lot of preachers and priests and religious figures in general, and then my father owning a nightclub and being around kind of the flip side of that, I kind of sometimes realize that the ones that you would think were the bullshitters weren't. The ones you thought wouldn't be the bullshitters were, and the ones you thought weren't. And I'm not going to say what side that's on, but I think you know what I'm saying. Sometimes the people, you don't always think will actually help you or tell you the truth are the ones that do. And a lot of times the ones that you think are holier than thou or that are there to help you aren't. And, I think maybe that's where a lot of me having a problem believing in a lot of things or people or following others came from. And I also will say, I don't know if it's an Italian thing, to a certain degree, is I hate following other people's rules. That doesn't mean I'm out to break the law or anything. But even growing up, for the most part, I'm not going to lie, or through, I guess it's still now to a certain degree. I have my own set of rules to a certain degree, but I love breaking those rules. If you listen to any of my podcasts, maybe even YouTube, I talk about breaking your own rules, especially if you're not successful or things aren't going your way, because most likely a lot of your rules suck. Even though you may value them, they're not working to your advantage. What kind of rules are they? But I'm not saying I like breaking all the rules, but I like creating my own environment, and I like doing what I want to do, again, with who I like to do it with, when I want to do it. And I know there's a fine line there, but I have a lot of family members too that kind of almost fall in this, and in the United States and in Italy. And it's almost an arrogance level. And when I hear other people say these things, I'm like, wow, are you fucking kind of crazy? And then I look in the mirror and go, this is exactly your beliefs. My almost belief to a certain degree a lot of times is not to have a belief. I'd like to try to be as open-minded as possible. That's why, back to the media or anybody, I don't trust anyone. It doesn't matter what side I'm on or who or what network. I'm sure there's a lot of truth in what they're telling me. I also believe there's a lot of bullshit. I also think there's a lot of cover-ups. And and that goes for anyone. So my point being is that I'm crazy. No, I'm kidding. But if you are somebody like this and you're having problems, say, with working for people and you're younger, or you have a problem believing a lot of people, I want you to know you're not alone. There's a lot of us out there. And maybe you should be somebody who should be the type of person who goes and just does his own thing. Kind of like what I did. I mean, don't get me wrong, I worked. But I also did a lot of things that I always wanted to do. And I got them done. And I didn't let anybody mislead me or misguide me or bullshit me. Because I do have the mindset, once I kind of set my mind on something, I'm not going to stop doing it until I decide. But here's the thing. That doesn't mean I'm always going to succeed at the level maybe I want to, or maybe other people think I should. And I think that's one of the setbacks I had, is maybe if I'd done things differently and went under, and it would be maybe if I went under somebody else that was much more successful and I followed their lead, or maybe even became an intern hypothetically when I was younger, or I worked for them, or kind of climbed the corporate ladder, or just climbed the ladder in general, maybe it would have been a lot more beneficial financially for me. And sometimes I think about, like, being so independent, did it help me or destroy me, from a financial standpoint? At times I made a lot of money, and at times I lost a ton of money. At times I had a lot of freedom, and then at other times I had no freedom. But I think that's what life's about, right? But I will say that if I look back on my life, that I was very happy that, I stuck to my core beliefs. And if you stick to yours, the one thing at the end of your life, regardless what time you pass, if you believed in yourself and your own values and you truly did what you wanted to do, I don't know what a better gift of life what would be better than that? I don't think there's much, because when we do go, we don't take all this shit with us. I don't care money. We don't take our family members, friends. Usually you go alone, and even if you're within a group, you're still, wherever you're going, I don't know where the hell we're going after we pass away, but in those last few moments when you look back at your life, did you follow someone else's lead, or did you lead your own life? And I would rather lead my own. Now, again, that's just my opinion. Do whatever you want, but if you are somebody, again, that is following somebody too, that is not, it's not working out for you, you're not getting the results you wanted, you're not succeeding at the level, maybe it's time just again to go independent for a while. That doesn't mean quit your job. But you may want to start trying some endeavors individually, and also maybe not believing all the shit you hear and letting what you hear interrupt your life and stop you from maybe doing certain things that you may want to do as well, or just being angry. I see right now, and I will wrap it up with this, I see so many things going on in the news and the media and social media, especially political wise, making everyone crazy. Listen, that's on you if you let that make you crazy. You got your own life to lead, and maybe what they do does have an effect in your life, especially maybe even if you work in that industry or whatever. That's what you do. But you're never going to be able to control what other people do to a certain degree. That's just life in general. Do the best you can with your life. Follow your own path, man. or I should say, create your own path and go. Just keep going, go where your energy leads you, because the more I believe that you start to believe in yourself, again, it's not always about financial, but if you start believing in yourself, doing what you truly want to do or what you love to do, it's a game changer. I swear, and a lot of people never realize that because they never truly go after it. So I'm going to wrap it up there. If you get a chance, check out my YouTube channel, Rich CELENZA. I'm also on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, even though I'm never on Instagram. And I only post shit on Twitter. I never look at it. And I'm always on YouTube. And I like Facebook for family and friends. And I have a public page there too. You might want to check out all my stuff if you like any of my stuff. RichChelenza.com. If you got any questions or comments, I love helping people, communicating with people as well. So feel free. All right, take care. I wish you nothing but the best.